Well, I'd really like to go to the dogs today for some of the answers to what we're going to talk about. So as much as possible, I'd like this to be a practical kind of workshop. Those of you that know me well know I find great solace and comfort in the science and the beloved PowerPoint, and it is my rock. So last year, Dana Krevling, owner of Dogs, of course, said to me, could you just do a workshop where you show up and we all just talk? I'm like...
So when we started this, he did have a hold, but it's a sport hold because of the disc work that we do. So it's
a what hold?
Sport.
I don't know what that means.
It means it has no criteria.
Oh, what we would call sloppy. Okay, go.
I don't care where he puts it in his mouth as long as the disc is somewhere in his mouth and it comes back to me.
Frisbee, meaning?
Frisbee,
okay.
Yeah. So for this, I had to teach him to put it in the front of his mouth, and I wrapped a biscuit. So I switched it to food and changed
that is
location.
duct tape wrapped biscuit.
This is a duct tape wrapped cookie.
You know what is so clear from this angle? How fairly precarious the hold is. He's got his teeth on it, but not his lips. No, I mean, it's fine, but it's really interesting. It's like teeth on the biscuit. Oh my gosh.
So we went from that to holding this, and he had to just touch the cup with it.
To touch the cup with the biscuit. That's your criteria?
Yeah.
Okay. And he's going to obviously drop it after you click. Okay. Oh. And then we won't do any more. But one more? Then you can have anything. I don't care. You can have the whole box of cookies. What was that? You got another dry cookie? Oh, she's got a second dry cookie. Awesome.
This is going to make me want to progress too quickly, maybe.
Oh, too quickly. Did you see me go progress?
Yeah. And I would like some guidance in some criteria for when to put a cue to what I got with the click earlier today.
There is a downside of us giving you a goal that's a little challenging because you're like, I got to get to that goal. It's 5 o'clock. I got to get there. That's partly our fault just to give you something to shoot for. But always our goal with teaching is you and the dog know more after the session than before the session, if at all possible. It doesn't have to be a lot more, but you've worked through it. We are not going to talk on the lecture slides on cueing. There's only a couple of them. They're repetitive from what a lot of you know and things I've covered. The general rule on adding a cue, the thing that I think you can carry with you from any kind of project you're doing, is to say your cue, whatever it is, word or gesture or prop, in the best case scenario, is your prediction of what's about to happen anyway. So if you just think that in clicker training, the same word, let's say down, you're teaching your dog to lie down. It may sound exactly like the down a traditional trainer would say, using some compulsion to teach, but the signals have entirely different meanings. So in clicker training, when you say down, it is your gamble, your commitment, your bet that the dog is about to lie down anyway. It's simply your eyeballs seeing some little hint that the dog's about to lie down, and when you say down, it really means I bet my training partner $100 the dog is about to lie down no matter what I do or don't do. Actually, sometimes with beginners, I don't do this anymore because it's a little sassy and I've gotten too old for this. But in beginning classes, when you're teaching beginners, very often down is the thing they want to add a name to, and they know that their dog does it, and they're ready to add the cue at the end of class 1. So what you want to be able to say as a scientist is, I don't think your dog is ready. The cue really doesn't have any power on its own. It's the reinforcement that drives the behavior. You clearly haven't reinforced the behavior enough yet. You can't say all that. So what I sometimes say in a cocky way is, let's do a test and see if the dog is ready. I want you to imagine whatever your cue is going to be. Let's say it's the word down. I want you to think real hard, use telepathy, and send that cue to your dog. Just don't say anything, just use telepathy, and you'll see people squinch their face up, and they'll go, what am I actually saying? Don't do anything. If the dog lies down within a few seconds, it means the dog is offering that. It's begging. It's going, will you feed me? Then you have a good way of adding down because it doesn't have any power yet. It's meaningless. It is simply a guess that says, if I could link my down as a predictor with the behavior a couple dozen times, few dozen times, I will start to have some power to that word. But they can count reinforcements for you. They can count how many times you clicked or how many times you chucked food. Great to turn to your assistant and say, how many times did I reinforce the dog there? You're spoiled by having a helper. Use the helper.
Do you
he was just backing up, and so we were trying to hold his feet still.
His front feet. What were you looking for in terms of back foot
I wanted
movement?
his right rear foot to lift up.
And I'm really betting that's a lot of movement for him. I don't even know, I haven't watched you work, but I'm betting you're going to get right rear foot flexing just a littlest bit instead. Because I think what he's probably thinking with the target out is, I am standing on the target.
Yeah,
That's what
and
you
I'm
taught me to
supposed to
do for the
follow
longest
around
time, for
and-
goodness
yeah.
sakes. What do you want? So the two things would be, that may not be helpful to you because it actually may be creating a statue.
Right.
Or if you want to try to use it to anchor the front and free up the back, you got to take any movement in the back. And I might say, anything from this point on the dog back that flexes, moves, lifts, bends a little, I'm taking it all. Because I think right now he's not at all energized back there because he's in stack.
Yeah.
I'm stacked. I got my target. That's not a flaw.
So if I
But I
did
think
use
you might
that-
need to drop how much movement you're looking for.
Okay.
Really want to spend some time talking before I send you out to train again. So I'm feeling like we need a little more focus. We need to make some choices as a group so that when you go back out to train, you're feeling really comfortable in what you might ask your dog to do next. So I want to do a little tucking before we send you back out with your dogs. Exercises with myself. But I'd ask you to do it yourself. And we're not going to take a lot of time here, but maybe spend just a little time reflecting. If you had to explain to a novice, a new trainer, this is Anne and she's showing off Boomer, who graduated from one of my beginning classes just a while ago. I just like this picture of the two of those happy beginner dog, beginner human. What do I really want that human to take out of working with me for a beginner class or a beginning consultation? What skill set, what do I want them understanding they're going to work on? Every trainer is going to make this choice differently. You're going to have different things to focus on. But here's the questions I ask myself. What is it essential she know? What should she absolutely embrace as core to good training? There's no discussion really about it. Science would say you've got to actually understand something. It's essential to good training. What's important? What would I emphasize? But a little less essential. You can take or leave it. We could have an interesting conversation about whether it's essential or not, but it's not so core. What's irrelevant? What are people going to spend their time focusing on when they come to see me that I can free them from? What can I say, you know what? You don't even need to worry about that.